for those that aren't with us. And just once again, welcome to session 6 of this season of Blessing Book. And I'd like to begin with our 3 breaths. And I'd like to invite you just to really settle in and get comfortable, because we're going to go straight into just a very short meditation when we finish that. And so just, go ahead and get really comfortable in your chair and kind of roll your shoulders a couple times and just let the muscles in your shoulders relax and just really let your body relax. You might want to close your eyes, although you don't have to. So with this first breath, we're going to breathe in and then hold it briefly and then breathe out and just release all the cares of the day, all the things going on around you, all the things it took to get here. Just release it right now. Remember, those great big belly breaths are what we want. So today we're going to do our heartstrings next. And so breathe in and then just toss out heartstrings to each other. Just that beautiful sense of connection that we have. Just imagine our friends all over the world and just throw heartstrings out. I just am continually amazed that we live in a time when we can connect in this way. It's such a blessing. And then for the third breath, breathe in, hold it, and as you release, I want you just to kind of drop into your heart space. Just become aware of your own heart. They say that the heart has memory. They say that the heart is the residence of our soul. Just imagine the heart pumping and circulating blood throughout your body. As you breathe, imagine the oxygen going to and from your heart and on out to your body. And imagine the blood just traveling all the way down to your toes, up through your body, out your arms to your fingertips, and then up into your head, into your brain. And just kind of honor the magnitude of this incredible body in which we reside. From your heart space, from that place inside you of pure self, your truest, most authentic place, I invite you to imagine your beingness and the gifts that you have that are uniquely yours. Those gifts that are inherent to who you are. They come easily. Think about those gifts as ways of being in the world as well. What is your way of being in the world? Consider how you might embody your gifts to be in service to others. You, just by your very existence, are a blessing. Hear that and receive it. You, in your very existence in this moment, are a blessing. Imagine moving out and taking a step, a new step, into blessing others. Become aware of your breathing again. One more big, big belly breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. So today we're going to think about those parts of us that are just truly ours, our own unique gifts, and we're going to create a collage in a minute. But I want to begin by reading from Rumi. Something opens our wings. Something makes boredom and hurt disappear. Someone fills the cup in front of us, and we taste only its sacredness. And then this one we're going to put into image in a little while, but I want to go ahead and read it now. I want to be where your barefoot walks, because maybe before you step, you'll look at the ground. I want that blessing. Every step I take is a blessing. It's kind of an interesting thought. You know, sometimes we, as we move around through the world, we don't always realize that those moments that are so simple can be incredibly profound. And so that's the invitation in this moment. So I'm going to switch cameras and we're going to get right into creating today, because I have 2 pages that I'd like to bring. So I have a candle for us today. So our first process, you see I have all these collage images ready to roll. And for our first process, I'd like for you to write in a fairly bold way. They're going to be covered up, so most of these words, you can always add them back in later. But I'd like for you to write the words that came up in that very short meditation. What are your inherent gifts? What gifts are uniquely yours? Think about your very true self, your most authentic person. What are some of your gifts? And just write them randomly on a page. I have to say that my book is like really overflowing and it's getting kind of challenging. It's good that I'm at the end of our 6-week season, because I'm going to need to start a new book. So just go across both pages, but write things that are descriptors of who you are, of your gifts that are uniquely yours. Okay, be sure you have at least 3 or 4, but you can have as many as you want. So the next thing that I'd like to invite us to is to somehow transform these into verbs. So I'm going to use kindness. People tell me that I'm kind. So instead of the word kindness, I'm going to write be kind. How can we put those gifts into action? Nature. I love nature. I love the earth. And so one thing I could do would be to recycle. And one thing that's really been on my mind as an artist recently, oh gosh, everything's backwards on my letters here. I know there's a way to change that.
It looks okay on my screen, Marianne.
Oh, good, good. Okay, there. Another thing in terms of earth that has been on my heart as an artist, I'm an acrylic painter. That's my primary medium. And it's really been on my heart to be a good steward of my paints and to try not to leave an imprint from paint products and things. So just kind of take some time and write different things. As an artist, one thing that I'm seeing a lot right now in the intentional creativity world is a lot of artists are working for social justice right now. So once you have your verbs, your words and your verbs, then today we're going to create a collage. And collage is always fun for me. I find it just fascinating because I will put images together that feel very random initially, but somehow they end up working together. So this image of women in India creating these beautiful murals for some reason really wants to be the basis of this page. And so I'm going to begin with it. It's really amazing. I know Janet is on this call, but I'm always amazed, Janet and others, if you want to chime in, at how we can put down images in a collage and even years later come back and realize that it was kind of giving us a message that was going to be so relevant down the road. So even if it doesn't seem to mean anything right now, just flow with it, is what I'm trying to say. So these boots really want to be in here. I am a Texas girl, but it's not so much about that. The song "These Boots Are Made for Walking" keeps coming to mind to me this morning, and I know it's got some really negative aspects as well, but it's just like, for some reason, these boots, and I think really it's about taking the next step, and that's really the feeling that I get with it. So I'm gonna put these in. And once again, just be really intuitive about it. These, our next process, I'm gonna work with these and draw. But this is kind of the embodiment of the Rumi writing that I just read. I want to be where her feet are not bare, where your barefoot walks, because maybe before you step, you'll look at the ground. I want that blessing. So that's going to be the basis for an image here in a minute, but I want to put them on the collage. And I could not end this 6 weeks without adding a teacup. I know we have several that are coming in to our Zoom for the first time today, and I'm so incredibly happy you're here. Know that Blessing Book will continue, but we are going to take a little Sabbath rest here for a few weeks. And so this will be our last Zoom session for a little while. And tea has been such a part of this particular session for me. And this lady, I just love her. She's just like laying in a field of flowers. Who wouldn't love to do that? Oh, it's a sense of just kind of bliss, I guess, in that. We won't think about all the little bugs and things that might be out there. And here I have an owl. I really love owls. They always, for me, they represent wisdom. And also just kind of presence. In addition to, I find birds to be such beautiful, beautiful creatures. And finding sacred moments, this was in a magazine that I had, and it was an article, but I just thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to find sacred moments in the midst of the ordinary. And maybe to help other people find those sacred moments too. And I want to put a few of these in, but I don't want to obscure all the, oh, maybe her. Something about her being black and white, she really stands out there. Oh yeah. And then I have these little girls, just the edge of them. They were actually, as you can see in the dress here, they were part of another image with this woman with the, and somehow they want to be in there. So I'm going to just put them in. And I think maybe they're kind of reminding me always, you know, for many years of my life, I was a little too serious, I got to say. And now I really cultivate my child spirit. And I do that with absolute intention. And they're just reminding me to continue to do that. Because the thing about the little child spirit, the child spirit, number one, is free, but also, you know, there's not really usually any judgment with a little child spirit. They're usually kind and loving and just embody goodness. And so if I can cultivate those qualities, that sounds really good to me. I think there may be one more image that wants to go in, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to wait because I'm just really not sure which one. All right. So hopefully you are in the midst with the collage. I'd like to invite you, though, even though we're working with this today, I really would like us to flow into a second page. And for this page, remember the lady looking down at her shoes, or the boots, some form of stepping. And I want to begin this page with the idea that we are at a place in this season of Blessing Book where we're going to take the next step. And let me switch cameras a minute. Okay, so we are at a place where we are 6 weeks in, and my invitation to you is to take the next step, and that for this right now would be to embody those gifts that are yours, that are uniquely yours. But I also want to talk a little bit about the next season of Blessing Book, because in the Facebook page, I did a survey and it seemed to be a pretty strong consensus that most people would like to continue and flow into another season. So we will do that. We are going to take a pause. And so I want to read from Joan Chittister's book, Uncommon Gratitude. And I want to just kind of talk a little bit about Sabbath rest. One of the undoubted gifts to the world from the Judeo-Christian tradition is the weekend. Plenty of cultures have carved up time into 7-day portions. It's a convenient way of dividing the lunar month, but only in our tradition has it been marked by days of rest. Thanks to the dual roots of Western civilization, both Saturday and Sunday can be counted as rest days, the Jewish Sabbath and the Christian Lord's Day to rest. No wonder then that when Friday has come around, it has a certain feel to it. We all know it, especially teachers. School teachers both dread and long for Friday afternoon. If they are wise and want to avoid mayhem, they won't schedule anything too demanding for the children. Businesses declare Friday a dressing down day. People walk around wearing t-shirts with the message, "Thank God it's Friday," or some other version of that. Friday is the time for winding down, getting ready to relax. The week is fading away. So as we have come to the end of this season, there's a sense that this season of Blessing Book is kind of fading away, and we're going to take a sacred pause. And what we're going to do, it's going to allow several things. There's several quite a good number that have come in after the beginning of Blessing Book. And so there are a number of people that are not at a place where their book looks like this yet, where it's not full yet. And so our pause will allow them to move through the weeks in a gentle pace and enjoy themselves and really come to a place of completion. And it will also allow us just to kind of take a pause. During that time, I invite you to continue creating just gently. And the reason for that is we are currently in a flow state with Blessing Book. And as long as we continue gently in that process, the flow will continue. But if we all stop creating, all those synchronicities and all that flow will stop as well. So even though we are not going to be meeting in Zoom, you will be getting some things from me in the Facebook group. But by and large, it's going to be just kind of a time to encourage one another and, share your images, share your work. And then I will have the next offering probably mid-July is when you'll hear from me with that. So it's really been fun. I hope you've all had a really good time. I know for myself, I received just a lovely email from Sean, who's our lone male in the group, and I love him. I haven't met him, but I love him for being an enlightened male who will come create with us. And he was so sweet, and I just thought, this has been really neat. And he said, "Marianne, when I'm watching your videos, it seems like you're really having fun too." And I am absolutely delighted to spend this hour with you each week. And so I hope it feels expansive for you in the same way that it does for me. So let's go back to our books and I want to create a page around the idea of taking the next step. And I am going to create my feet, just looking down at my feet. So you can create yours in whatever way you would like. I can't believe I'm freehanding this. This is hilarious. I really like to draw with pencil first, but I thought, I can draw feet. So how many times have you been on a path and you just kind of pause as you're entering that path and look down at your feet? I've actually done that a couple times, not often, but it's kind of a neat idea. I probably will do it more after thinking about it. For my master's thesis project, I created a path with footprints on it, and they were my footprints, and it was really profound. Went down to Galveston and set it up. So this is the end of my book, y'all. I have my pocket page that I did with Celia at the very end, but this is essentially the end of my book. And I'm ending the book with the thought, take the next step. And I think that's a really great ending, because it's ending with the invitation to a beginning. I would like to genuinely thank my friends Janet and Celia for being our heart tenders, and Ilona has been with us some. I really appreciate y'all's presence. And I want to mention, I will be offline for a couple weeks in the Facebook group. And in the Facebook group for that couple weeks, my friend Jen Bissett is going to be tending that space for me. And Jen, you have probably already met Jen virtually because she's one of our participants. And so you've probably seen her images. The reason I asked Jen to tend the space for me during the next couple weeks is that Jen and I are very connected on a soul level, and we often receive the very same information from spirit at the same time, and it's just kind of phenomenal. And so I know that as she tends that space lovingly with you, that she would be probably saying things similar to what I would be saying. And so I hope I know Jen will be a blessing to you, and I hope that you will continue sharing images with each other during the next couple weeks. I'm running out of page. Okay. So I'm gonna begin by painting my feet. It's going to be interesting. You know, this has been such a time of just sameness in some ways. The days kind of merged together, but it's also been a time of dramatic change in our world. And so, as I was pondering taking this Sabbath rest time and having the month, you know, where we're on a pause, I thought, gosh, I wonder what a month is gonna, how our world will be. Will it be the same in a month, or will it be different? It's going to be fun to see. The thought that's bubbling up for me right now is kind of that idea of breaking ground on something new, because while so much will be the same, you know, we'll also have a lot that will be new as the world opens back up. Don't know why, but really bright pink is wanting to come in. Well, I say I don't know why. Pink is my favorite color, so I kind of know why. Oh, wow, that is really pink. That is Liquitex, and it's called Fluorescent Opera Pink. That is cool. I like that. And it almost looks like a dye as I'm looking at it. So I'm sitting here painting hot pink and wondering and looking forward to seeing your toes. So this is interesting. Another approach to this would be to paint, and I thought about painting like a garden type grassy scene for my toes to be in the midst of. That would be another approach. Or like a forest. You know how when you're in a forest and there's all these pine needles on the ground, that would be lovely too. Could really imagine any setting for this. I'm kind of in more of a cosmic realm with it. Just kind of imagining that next step. And one thing that keeps feeling important for me is that thought of us moving forward together in the context of Blessing Book. And so I don't know if you remember very early that image I did of the Zoom room. I'll move back to it here in a second so you can see it. I like to look back through my books, but this was one of our very first weeks, and this image just really wanted to come through of all of us in our Zoom room. And so now we're moving out of our Zoom room, and the invitation for all of us, every one of us, is to move out, not necessarily into the world in the way we always have, but to bring our gifts and our graces. I want to give an example, and I don't know if she's with us today, but my friend Patty's a great example of that. Patty is one of those people that is just full of happiness and joy, and it's kind of contagious when you're around her. And so to me, one of her greatest gifts is that of just bringing that joy to the world, and in a very real way. And that's something that she does every day with everyone she meets. And it just flows naturally out of her because it's such a deep part of who she is. And so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where whatever blessing, that inherent gift in you, it's not hard to make it a verb because it's who you are, my dear ones. It's absolutely who you are. So here we are, taking the next step together, and also each of us moving into our own gifts and letting them flow as well. So I hope that makes sense. Yay, Celia can draw feet. We can all draw feet. I love that. But it's like that first time you draw feet, it's like, oh, I really can do this.
No, I really can't. I drew around my feet. I gave up.
So I want to switch us to gallery view and just see, would anyone like to share either their collage or their feet, and what's bubbling up about taking that next step? Squidge, do you want to share?
Well, I just did my 1 foot,
Mm-hmm.
take the next step, singular, one
Yes.
side.
Oh, I love that.
Because I have no idea what the next steps are.
Many of us feel that way.
Everything's so changeable. I mean, tomorrow's a completely different day, and my thoughts are different, and I'm into all this deep consciousness work. So everything is very mysterious and highly volatile.
Yes.
As far as taking the steps.
Yes.
So I'm stepping into clouds and the unknown, and God only knows what God does know, but I don't.
Well, and Squidge, the one thing that I really love about that is just that you're open to the possibilities.
Totally.
Because sometimes, even if we don't know what the next step is, as long as we're open to the possibility of the next step, that's the thing that really, will allow that flow to happen. Thank you so much. I love your footstep on the cloud. Would anyone else like to share? Mary
Hi,
Ann.
Marianne.
Hi, Mary Ann.
I kind of cheated, and I found a picture of a lady taking steps,
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, no
and
cheating.
she's got a bag packed, and the thing on top, it says, "Sticking to my vision as an artful entrepreneur."
Ooh, I love that.
So I got sipping tea and taking steps.
That's awesome. And I love that the bag is packed because I know you love to travel. So we're just going to hope for things to open up so that you can start traveling with your beloved again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
We were
so much.
supposed to finish our 50 states this month.
Ah,
But we got to wait till next year.
yes, yes, it will happen. Would anyone else like to share? Grace? Let me,
There we go. So I'm actually using my back page, which I'd already started before, little footprints, and then I'm just writing, take the next step there.
oh, I
Because
love it.
I'm at the very end of my book. I have not put together. My collage is just in pieces. So it's kind of falling apart now.
That's okay.
And I'll share it later, but right this minute.
It's still in process. I love your, can you go back to your step page? I love the owl in that page. What a beautiful owl.
Owl. I know, I fell in love with it. This other thing ended up, I use this page as a blotter, is this shape. And I just went, oh, that kind of looks like a mushroom. I'll just turn it into a mushroom.
It does look like a mushroom. It's beautiful. I love everything about that. That page reminds me of walking in the most lush, gorgeous forest, and just, it feels really good.
Yeah, no, I kind of really like it. And it just seemed like adding the take the next step in that position was perfect. And
Yes.
it was not a finished page. It was waiting for what had to, and there it is.
And that, yes, and that's such a good point too, because that happens sometimes. And if you have a page that you've worked on it and it's at a place of a pause, but you know there's more to come, just trust in the journey and trust that when in perfect time it will emerge. And so I'm glad that happened for you today. That's lovely.
Love it too. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to share? Christine. Christine.
Hi, everyone. I'm new here, and thank you. This is the first one that I've gotten to catch live, so I'm excited for the pause and to get to dive in a little bit more.
Great.
And this is my, I don't know if the words are backwards. This is my page so far. I've got some work to do on it, but I put just keep going. And this is like a heart stone. Sometimes you find heart rocks on the ground. And I like to work with labyrinths. And this stone is like a threshold stone.
Oh, wow.
The stone at the front of the threshold that you have to mindfully step over to enter. And for me, this feels like a threshold moment in our world, that we are standing in between one thing and the next, and we're stepping over that threshold. And so this is just a reminder to me to enter mindfully, whatever it is that we move into next. So maybe I might draw a little labyrinth on here somewhere. I'm not sure what'll come, but that's what I've got so far.
That's amazing. Thank you. I love the wisdom in the threshold moment and the threshold stone. I don't know if you've ever been to Orca Island up in the San Juan Islands, but
yeah, I live in Portland, Oregon, so that's not too far from me.
So there are heart-shaped rocks all around orcas.
That's so
And
cool.
oh my gosh, they're the first time I saw them, I was like, how is that even possible? But they're everywhere up there. It's truly lovely. Oh gosh, well, you're in one of my favorite parts of the US for sure. That's amazing. I love
Thank you for
Portland.
this class.
Oh, I'm so glad that you got to join in today, and there will be more to come. So hopefully we'll see you again live soon. Oh. Would anyone else like to share?
Marianne, here's my collage.
Let me pin you. Oh, wow. That's awesome. I want to go in that convertible with that cute guy.
You're talking about heartstones. I have one right here on my desk.
Awesome. They're so amazing. I would just love to know the process of how that happens.
Yeah.
It's just I'm fascinated by
and
it.
it's like once you see one, then you start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah, they're amazing. Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to share? Shelley? I can't hear you. Yeah, you have it on.
How's
There you are.
I love this group. It's like, speaking of labyrinths, I started in a labyrinth, but I can't remember the formation. So I have the circle, but the forward intentional movement.
Oh, I love that.
Intentional, the Mendi that some of my friends do for people. It just, that meditative quality is coming through, but taking the action.
That's beautiful. I love the pinky toe ring.
I love colors. It's fun. Just for
That's beautiful.
I loved how Christine said that, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're all so connected. It's fabulous.
We are. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have time for one or two more. Natalie?
So I love collage when it's quick and I'm not thinking. It just, so look at these pieces that have come together.
Oh my goodness.
We have the shadows were a church bulletin cover, which I had, but this is from a Reader's Digest. It's a tent in Toronto. A homeless person's tent. We got to think about things, loving your neighbors.
That's very
and I love this direction, which was really funny. I had that on the page before you said, so let's go do the walking page.
Awesome. And there you go.
Yeah. And the other one, this is still a work in progress, but
yes,
my feet are on rocky ground.
That's okay. We're all on rocky ground right now. So I think that's a good metaphor for where we are, actually. I love it.
There's a beach near me that's all granite, really nice, soft, worn down pebbles. And they're fairly big. They're like this. But it's not too hard to work on, although it gives your arches a workout. So
yeah.
And I have little pieces that come out of magazine articles. One is Involuntary Pilgrim. One was In Search Of. And then there's a smaller one of the so I'm not sure what I'm in search of, but I'm going to take the next step and find it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And I truly love the rocky ground. The willingness to take the step, whatever the ground is, because while we would love to be on the little pine needle forest things, sometimes the ground is rocky, and it takes courage to take the step when the ground is not soft, So I love that, Natalie. And that's such a great, just subtle metaphor for our time in which we're living. That's perfect.
And that's probably where that all came from. It's just
yes.
all weighing it.
And your collage is super powerful.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I've never done collage. Didn't do collage as a kid, any of that stuff. And then
Mhm.
lately when I've done a few because somebody has said, why don't you try it?
Mhm.
It's like,
I know, they kind of blow you away sometimes.
yeah,
It's
good.
amazing.
And blessings on your next few weeks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I think we have time for one more person. Celia?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. Just picking up on what Natalie was saying about collage. I think when you don't think about it, that's when you get the whoomph. You know, it's the because as we started, I thought, oh, I haven't got my images. So I got my box and then all of a sudden it all starts to create a picture. But I thought I would share my hilarious feat because I started and I went, I can't draw feet. So I thought, well, if I wanted to draw a hand, I'd draw around it. So I thought, I'll just draw around my feet. So, it reminds me actually, my very first Smash book, my grounding page, I actually painted my feet and stood on my book.
Oh, yes, I've done that. That's fun.
Yeah. I didn't think about how I was going to get off the page, having got painted feet, and stood there shouting to my husband to come and rescue me. But it's a very it's kind of clear. I think it does want colouring in, but at the moment there's a lot of space there.
I love that.
And for me, at the moment, yes, I'm wanting to take the next step, but it's very much one step at a time. I don't need to be running. So it was just sort of one step at a time. And then I'd got that the Power of Love, which I was going to put on that's my collage page.
Whoa, beautiful.
And I glued it, and then as when you move it all around the page, and it didn't want to go there, and I turned over and it went, yeah. So I think my feet are powered by love.
That's awesome. And
so
I believe that's true.
How that go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yes. And
they may even have spirit marks on them from Janet. I could have spirit marked feet. I have painted my feet with Mendy patterns.
Yes.
Last summer I did that. It was really good fun.
Well, and the Mendy patterns kind of feel like Janet's spirit marks, don't you think?
Yes.
They're very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I love the things that are bubbling up for all of us, and it's so reflective of this time in which we're living, and that really right now, one step at a time is where we're all going, because we are in a time where things are changing around us just so dramatically, and so just putting that foot forward and taking that one step is really what we're doing, and it is what we're doing. It's necessary. So I want to invite you to one more thing before we go. So I'm going to switch cameras one more time. So here's my blessing book.
Wow.
And I love this book. I love all of my Smash books, but this book, truly, I love this book. What I would like to invite you, when you get to that place, and I'm close with mine, I'm on the last page with what we're doing today, so the timing was perfect. When you get to a place of completion, I want you to consider, I invite you to create a video of your blessing book. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You can do it with your cell phone. Have a friend or your husband or your partner hold the phone while you turn the pages. But we have created tremendous beauty in, this was one of my thoughts earlier in the week. I thought that was so cool. This idea of the legs just kind of dangling. But we've done a lot of soul work. We've done some deep inner work while we've been together. We have written our own origin poems, which were just so profound and deep. And we've also just had some really lighthearted times. And then we've gone through just kind of tremendous This was our inner landscape pages. And so I'm kind of rambling a little bit, sorry about that, but what I would invite you to do is just create a video for yourself. I would love for you to share it in the Facebook page, but you don't have to. But just kind of create a video as an honoring of this time and of this book. Here's our pocket pages. More pocket pages. Celia, you'd be proud of me. Our hands. Friends, it's time for our hands to go to work and our feet to take the next step. So here, I love that it was interesting that I wanted to put one person on this collage, but on this one, it's all of us. So, oops. So know that I just love each of you dearly, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. This has been the most amazing 6 weeks, and there's more to come. Our journey is really just beginning. So I invite you to share your pages from today as they come to a place of completion. Christine, I'm going to ask you if you would do a post around the threshold stone idea, because I think that all of what we're sharing here, Natalie's walking on the rocks and one step at a time. If each of you would share the meaning and substance behind your taking that next step piece, because I think there's been some really profound things shared today. And for those that weren't a part of the Zoom, I think it would be really, really beneficial for them. So share your pages, consider creating a video of your book, and I will be sending out this Zoom session today, and you'll be hearing from me just intermittently through the next few weeks. I've got a few things that I'm going to be sending you and a few posts scheduled in Facebook. And I will look forward to seeing each of you soon, and just take care and have a lovely week. I'm going to put it on gallery view so we can all and unmute everybody. So if everybody wants to hold up a page or just wave, or we can hug each other.
Have a great month, Marianne.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you soon.
Blessings.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.